Let's try that one. There we go. Okay, great. So I'd like to call the meeting to order now. I lost my agenda because I got too many screens going. So this is the regular City of Vallejo Design Review Board meeting, and I'd like to first call the meeting to order, and then let's go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and then can we get a roll call?
Board Member Adams.
Here.
Chair Kennedy.
Present.
Board Member Eli.
Present.
Board Member Lugtu absent, and we have a quorum.
Okay, that was going to be my first question. Do we have a quorum? And then item 4 on the agenda, the consent calendar and the approval of the agenda. And can I get a motion to approve the agenda, or do we have any discussion?
I move to approve the agenda.
I second the motion.
With that, let's call the vote.
We have 3 ayes and the motion carries.
Very good. Moving on to 4B, approval of the minutes. Again, do we have any discussion? If not, can I get a motion?
I move to approve the agenda.
Oh, excuse me, can we correct that? We're looking for the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
I second the motion.
And let's call the vote.
We have 3 ayes and the motion carries.
Excellent. Moving right on to item 5, report of the City Council liaison. Do we have a liaison present this evening? We do not. Move on to item 6, community forum. Do we have any comments?
Through the chair, currently do not have any members of the public signed up for the community forum. However, reflected on the top left corner of your screen is a 2-minute timer for interested parties to sign up for the community forum, which can be done at the back of the council chambers at one of our terminals, or can be done online by raising your hand on Zoom. At the conclusion of that timer, if anybody signs up for the community forum, I'll be sure to let you know. But in the meantime, feel free to carry on with the agenda.
Okay, so we'll move on, keeping that a pin in that item 6, moving on to item 7, the public hearing. We're holding a public hearing to consider adoption of a resolution recommending Planning Commission approve a design review, landscape review, and sign permit PLN 25-0027 for the DXD self-storage at 1609 Lewis Brown Drive. The APMs are recorded in the agenda. We've got a recommendation from staff that we hold a public hearing considering adoption. And I guess let's open that. Do we have any correspondence on that? Has anybody, either the board members or staff gotten any correspondence?
Through the chair, we did not receive any correspondences or comments regarding the project. So.
Okay, any of the board members? Do we have any correspondence? I'll take that as a no, and then let's get the, so we have no ex parte communications, and I'm then going to move on and ask for the staff report.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to introduce Robert Busick, our senior planner. He'll be taking the lead and presenting the item before you tonight.
Good evening, Chair Kennedy, members of the board. I am Robert Busick, Senior Planner here at the City of Vallejo, here to present the DXD self-storage design review, landscape review, and sign permit components of project PLN 25-0027. Just to recap, the purpose of tonight's meeting is to hold a public hearing, review the project, including public testimony, and then make a recommendation to the Planning Commission. This item is subject to the Levine Act, Have any commissioners received any contributions from the applicant?
I have not.
Awesome.
No.
No, I have not.
Great. So we can get right into it. So starting off, we'll talk about the project setting here. So the project site consists of one 1.81 acre parcel located northeast of the intersection of Lewis Brown Drive, there through the middle of the screen running diagonally, and then and Sonoma Boulevard, which is the larger road off to the left that runs north to south, as well as an adjacent 0.38 acre parcel. So currently the project site has two parcels that are proposed to then be combined. The site is generally flat and does sit approximately 500 feet from elevated portions of Highway 37, which you can see off in the upper left corner of the graphic on screen. The zoning for this site is limited industrial, and it is within the business and light industrial general plan land use designation. So the existing conditions for this project site, currently it is developed with one approximately 20,000 square foot single-story commercial building located directly adjacent to Lewis Brown Drive with an additional approximately 7,700 square foot single-story commercial building on the separate parcel at the rear of the site, which is along a small street called Commercial Street. The larger structure most recently housed a furniture store, and my understanding is the smaller structure has been occupied by an auto parts retailer, which also uses the open space on the property as storage space for various automobiles, as can be seen in the pictures. The proposal consists of a request to demolish those two existing commercial buildings and combine the two parcels into one 2.2 acre parcel before constructing a 4-story, just over 137,000 square foot climate-controlled self-storage facility. This facility is proposed to measure 49 feet in height, which does include a 4-foot parapet, and those heights fall within the allowances within Vallejo Municipal Code. This proposed self-storage facility contains approximately 1,000 indoor storage units available for rent by the public. No exterior storage nor hazardous material storage is proposed. So just, for the board's benefit, we'll talk about kind of where we came from with the first submittal. So as you can see here, there's the front elevation, this is the west elevation. This was the first proposal with the north elevation also shown, just showing that the first design submitted featured less movement along the facades and did not include as much glazing or fenestration as you'll see on the proposed project in front of you tonight. So maybe to get a little bit of context for the proposal, we'll start with the site plan, just to see how it's laid out. This proposal does include more than 22,000 square feet of landscaping, which equates to 23% of the project site to be landscaped, which does exceed the minimum 20% required within the limited industrial zoning district. The proposed building will be set back 64 feet from the front property line along Lewis Brown Drive there to the left side of the screen. The existing structure is approximately 30 feet from Lewis Brown Drive, so the proposed structure will be set back a little over twice as far from the site, which does allow for additional landscaping along Lewis Brown Drive, as well as internal vehicle circulation throughout the site. The driveway access along Lewis Brown has been consolidated to one point towards the kind of northeast, so it's the top portion of the site along the screen, top left there. This does provide additional distance from the existing driveway that serves the Vallejo Village Shopping Center that's directly south of the site, which you can see in the bottom left-hand side of the screen. So currently there are 2 bidirectional driveways in this area. So separating the 2 does provide for a little bit more, safety and comfort for pedestrians as they pass through this area. So the project does propose to remove 1 coast redwood located on the site. An arborist report was provided regarding the existing coast redwood tree. This tree is quite close to the existing structure at the rear of the property, which is proposed to be demolished. And the fact that the removal of the structure will cause unavoidable root loss, it led the certified arborist recommendation to be for removal. Approximately 51 trees will be installed as part of the proposal and consist of drought-tolerant species more suitable to this specific location. Other site items provided include loading zones sized to accommodate 3 large loading spaces required, as well as additional space for commercially sized vehicles, as this is a storage facility likely to be accessed by larger vehicles. 4 bicycle parking spaces would also be provided, split between 2 short-term spaces and 2 long-term spaces, also a code requirement. There are also 9 off-street standard-sized vehicle parking spaces provided. Also, an existing 6 to 8 foot tall CMU wall will be maintained along the south side, running along the Vallejo Village Shopping Center. Other fencing for the project will consist of 6 foot tall wrought iron fencing, which is also consistent with Vallejo Municipal Code. So getting to the proposed elevations, starting with the front or west-facing elevation on top, and then the north-facing side elevation. The 4-story self-storage facility will be constructed with a variety of high-quality building materials, painted with simple, bold colors. Vertical and horizontal facade breaks and appropriate building massing have been incorporated into the design of the building while taking into consideration the use of the structure as interior self-storage. Details, including strategically placed spandrel glass, box bay projections, and material variations in texture and color, have been added to all 4 sides of the structure in order to reduce the massing and provide visual interest when viewed from the adjacent properties. Also of note is that the glass on the front elevation is storefront glass, which will allow light to pass through to the interior and provide a sense of what is occurring on the inside of this building, lending to some authenticity, not so common among many self-storage facilities. Moving on, we have the rear or east-facing elevation at the top, along with the south-facing side elevation. The side and the rear elevations of the project are proposed to be more utilitarian, as these areas would be located behind limited access gates for customers of the facility and feature direct access units with roll-up metal doors painted to match the bottom band color of the building. The side elevations do also feature different projecting features, including sections which project 6 inches from the main wall segment and feature spandrel glass to evoke box bay windows commonly found in the region. Getting into the proposed materials for this self-storage facility, the materials incorporate a mix of smooth exterior insulation finishing system, or EFIS, concrete masonry unit, CMU, block, corrugated metal panels, and a mix of storefront glass and spandrel glass. Here on the exterior finish schedule that has been proposed, we can see that colors featured include bone white, storm gray, midnight black for the metal, urbane bronze, as well as dark bronze for the storefront windows, among other fairly neutral to dark colors. Getting into the landscape proposed for the site, as previously stated, the site proposes approximately 22,000 square feet of landscaping, which is 23% of the project site. The proposed landscaping would mainly be located along the perimeter of the site, in landscape islands in the internal parking lot, as well as along Lewis Brown Drive. A total of 51 new trees, as well as shrubs and ground cover, will be planted to provide additional buffering and screening of the proposed building from adjacent properties. 11 of the trees proposed for the site will be located directly along the site's Lewis Brown Drive frontage, which is currently very sparsely planted. Here we have the proposed plant palette. As was previously stated, over 50 trees are proposed, particularly taller trees such as the Afghan pine and Brisbane box, which would be planted along the perimeter of the property in order to provide additional screening and softening of the proposed structure when viewed from adjacent properties. Other proposed plantings include the western redbud and crepe myrtle trees, along with fairy duster, orchid rock rose, and red yucca shrubs. Lantana and rosemary will be used as ground cover. The front elevation would feature multiple metal trellises with vine plantings that would provide additional visual interest and screening and softening along the pedestrian pathways fronting the building. Moving from landscaping to proposed signage, the top image is the proposed wall sign, and the bottom image is the proposed monument sign along, both of these are facing west along Lewis Brown Drive. The proposed monument sign measures 17.5 square feet, and the wall sign proposed is 96 square feet. These are within the allowances within Vallejo Municipal Code for signage, which do allow up to a maximum of 100 square feet of sign area. The monument sign will be located along Lewis Brown Drive, approximately 11 and a half feet behind the front property line. The minimum distance in Vallejo Municipal Code for a monument sign is 5 feet. So as proposed, the project does meet the required findings for design review found in Vallejo Municipal Code section 16.604.03B, as described in the staff report and the resolution, as well as the other standards on the screen. And then the sign permit findings, which are outlined in Vallejo Municipal Code section 16.509.02D, as described in the staff report and resolution, have also been met. I would like to point out that the landscape review findings are included as part of the design review findings. For project notification, this notice was published in the Times-Herald on September 25th, 2025, and mailed to all properties within a 500-foot radius of both parcels of comprising the project site, as well as mailed to all active neighborhood groups and property owners, and electronically mailed to members of the Design Review Board and the applicant. As of now, staff has not received any comments or questions from the public regarding this project. This brings us to the recommendation. Based on the analysis contained in the staff report, staff recommends that the Design Review Board make a recommendation to the Planning Commission to approve design review, landscape review, and sign permit components of project PLN 25-0027 based on the findings as provided in the attached resolution. I am available to answer any questions at this time. We do also have the applicant's representative, James Hamilton, the project engineer, Ben Huber, in attendance here in the chamber, as well as the architect, Carlos Vargas, who is in attendance virtually tonight. Thank you.
Great, thank you for that, Robert. And let's go ahead and open the public hearing. And if the applicant would like to take the mic, we can get a quick presentation from the applicant.
Mic on? Yep. Good evening, James Hamilton, representative for the applicant, DXD Capital. Don't have a presentation prepared tonight. I did review the staff report ahead of the meeting. Robert and I connected on that, didn't have any comments, didn't have any questions to that. We appreciate the city's willingness to work with us as we brought this project in about 12 months ago. Had our initial pre-application meeting, and I checked the calendar. I think we actually got comments to that 12 months to the day yesterday from our initial application for the pre-app. So as Robert said, there's been a few different iterations on the elevations that we submitted. I think we got to a good landing point with those, along with the site plan as well. So I'm available to answer any questions if you have any, but just want to say we appreciate your time tonight.
Great. So let's go ahead and see if we've got any questions or clarifications from the commissioners, from our board members. You guys got any questions for?
I do. So I'm looking at the, I was looking at the drawings prior to the meeting tonight, and the only issues I have currently are with what's happening on Lewis Brown frontage. What I'm seeing there is a couple of things. That monument sign, it's on the property line, or beyond the property line. I think 5 feet was what you had said. But what I think I understand to be going on there is that there's a trail, a bicycle and pedestrian trail going in the frontage of Lewis Brown, connecting the Vine Trail, and I think that it's the Bay Trail, actually. So through the chair, is that something
through the
that's...
chair? So the Bay and Vine Trail, the connection, it's actually on the north end of Lewis Brown. So that's already been installed, and people are using it when I drive home. So it's not going to go directly in front of the project site. It's already has been installed on the north end of Lewis Brown.
Very good. Thank you for the clarification. And then there was another point that I'd like to make. I noticed that in the drawings, there's a call out for what looks to be overhead electric service, a joint pole with telecom and electric service to adjacent buildings. And it looks to me that there's a dedicated easement there for overhead. And my question is that power going underground as part of this development?
So we did speak to the electrical utility about that previously, and they expressed their interest in keeping that overhead, servicing the new development. So.
Okay. I'm a huge proponent of undergrounding whenever we can, and I'd urge planning to look into the benefits of that for our community and getting our infrastructure underground as much as possible. So that would be one thing that I would point out as a recommendation. And that's it. That's all I have. Great work on your
Yep, thank you.
on the part of the stakeholders.
Got anything else? The only question I have, and I think it may be a missing, I don't really understand the fencing program. I'm assuming it's gated. I assume the gate then closes a gap in a fence.
It will be completely secured around the property, 2 vehicular gates that'll only be accessed, and they'll also have personnel doors, so people can exit out of those gates as well. But the tenants or the customers of the facility will have dedicated codes for each of the gates.
I'm more concerned, I think, with the aesthetic, materials, palette, heights. As a plan, is there anything in front of planning? Do we have any presentation or any literature? Have you reviewed?
So there are sheets within the project plans, which I believe are the 4th attachment to this proposal, which do show the proposed wrought iron fencing, which is kind of your standard wrought iron, I believe painted black color or dark bronze.
Okay, so I probably missed that sheet. I got my packet fairly
The
late.
exact sheet is A1.22.
And I'm on A3, and I appear to have frozen the internet. Okay, but I'll assume that that's been reviewed and meets relevant code standards. No barbed wire, no concertina wire.
Yes, it does, and it
Correct.
will actually replace existing, kind of
Concertina wire.
dilapidated chain link and barbed wire.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I think that was my only question. And then I guess, do we have any cards or any comments from the public?
Through the chair, no speakers for this item at this current time.
Can we ask the question of the city?
Oh, now's your chance.
I have a question for the city. Here in Vallejo, we have a challenging unhoused issue. And I did hear the gentleman say tenants. I know you didn't mean to say that word, but are there any measures that the city is taking to help assure that people do not end up living in this facility?
Yes, Chair Kennedy, Board Member Adams, the part of the specific use standards for indoor self-storage within the Vallejo Municipal Code have a number of elements that restrict, like providing separate utilities to each storage unit. It explicitly prohibits using the storage units for habitation, which then is a condition, will be a condition of approval on the project, and that the applicant will have to adhere to. That will be part of the major use permit, which will be considered by the Planning Commission following, the board's decision tonight. So yeah, there are provisions in place to restrict habitation of the units.
But, so just to clarify, then that it's going to be a major use permit, not site development, and that will be in the conditioning on the approval of the use permit.
Correct. So yeah, the 3 items before you tonight are just a part of the overall entitlements that are required for this project. And then the Design Review Board has purview over recommending to the Planning Commission on these 3 items. And then the Planning Commission will ultimately decide on these 3 items as well as the additional items, including a major use permit for this proposed use of an indoor storage facility.
I have one other additional question. The redwood that's being removed, is there any way, and I'm not an arborist, but is there any way of relocating it to another part of the city, or is it being destroyed?
So taking a look at the arborist report, the tree is quite large, and kind of basically any sort of movement. And part of the issue is the fact that the structure adjacent to it is proposed to be removed. And at some point, the roots probably interact with the structure. So that removal of the structure will, impact those roots and, could end up, hurting that tree, which is why they recommend removal. Furthermore, the tree is located currently in an area that's proposed to be part of the bioretention basins as part of the required stormwater management for the proposal. So the proposal to compensate for the removal of the redwood tree by planting over 50 trees that are a bit more, better suited to the site in terms of, their drought tolerance and the various locational factors that support the health of a plant. That's what's being proposed to compensate for the loss of the one redwood tree.
Okay, well, that seems like a thorough answer. Do we have any further questions, comments, or can we close the public hearing? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing, and then let's take this up. Is there any further conversation you want to have amongst ourselves? No. Okay, well, we appear to be happy, and having considered our decision, do we get a motion to approve? Is there any conditioning language? I think we've got conditions already in approval. The fence program appears to be conditioned. Do you want to discuss it all, overhead infrastructure? And I'll just ask for a motion to approve.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the design review, landscape review, and sign permit for...
Through the chair, just
Yep.
want to remind that you're making a recommendation to the planning commission to act on
Okay.
the design review, landscape review, and the sign permit.
Okay. So, back up. I'd like to make a resolution to, a motion to adopt a resolution recommending the Planning Commission to approve the design review, landscape review, and sign permit, PL 25-0027 for DXD self-storage at 1609 Lewis Brown Drive, parcel number 052040-530 and 0052-040-140.
And do we have a second?
I second.
And with that, let's call the vote.
We have 3 ayes and the motion carries.
All righty, so we've got the motion carried. Let's get the agenda back up, and I think we are just about there. So, do we have any written communications?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have any written communications this evening.
Great, and as item 9, I have nothing to report. Do either of my board members have anything to report?
I have a question. Are the other commission members gone permanently, or they're just not here today?
So through the chair, board member Gordon, he resigned when he accepted a new job overseas. So that's why. And Commissioner Lugtu hasn't replied. So now it's the next step of getting the city clerk involved and reaching out to him, seeing if he's still interested, and reminding him of the attendance policy. And then it's up to the city clerk if they will, how would I say, remove him from the board, or we come up with some plan where he stays on the board.
My second question is, was there staffing changes at the city because it just would be helpful to have the paperwork earlier to prepare for these meetings,
Yeah.
unless I missed them, because
Yeah,
I
so-
may have missed it.
So I'm not sure, because it seems like everyone's getting my email when like this morning when I just sent the email checking in to see if you guys were going to make it this evening. I'm not sure if the emails that our secretary, Dahlia Vidor, is making it to you guys. So that's why I included the email at the bottom showing that she did reach out to you guys. It doesn't show your emails because everyone on the board is blind copied. And so,
I certainly don't get them.
okay.
So, and unfortunately, the challenge is that the board meets irregularly.
Yes.
And so I don't have it on my calendar because it most often doesn't meet.
Yeah.
And I don't typically get that until 9 or 10 o'clock the morning of. And sometimes, many times, I'm busy. So I, find time during the day to review the packet, but I don't get it until maybe 8 or 10 hours in advance on a workday. So it'd be ideal if we could kind of, somehow get back, maybe don't blind copy the board members. Maybe if they were CC'd, then we'd all know.
Unfortunately, we have to blank copy all the board members in the email. So what I'll do, our secretary Dahlia is out of the office tomorrow, and Monday's a holiday. So on Tuesday, I'll have her send another test email to you guys, just so you can make sure,
Perfect.
just make sure that everything's still going through.
Perfect. Okay, so we're through that. Do we have?
To kind of go back, like in the order with the secretary's report.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want
We
to
need
say, glad to see you guys making it out tonight. Not much to report other than, City Hall office hours have expanded again. Officially on Monday, we are now open from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. for the Planning and Development Services Department. We're closed for lunch from Total One, and then we're open every other Friday. So this Friday, we're open from 8:30 to 4:30. So, to better serve the community, because people have shared concerns about like us closing early, so that we've expanded our hours similar to what we were before the pandemic. And for now, we're going to be open every other Friday. And the schedule for which days we are open, this is our first Friday open, so then it'll just kind of follow after that.
Okay, and do we have anything from the attorney's office?
I have nothing to report.
And I don't believe we have any ad hoc subcommittees, in which case I'd like to adjourn the meeting. Thank you all. Have a good evening.